Oh, it's on. All right, cool. Hey, hey, good morning, everybody. Whoever's up. My name is Dante. Sorry, I'm late, having technical difficulties, but I am here now. So on this drawing, I'm gonna be working on for the next 45 or 40 minutes, whatever's left. It's um it's an ink drawing I'm working on. I started a little bit just to make sure I get it done. Started a little earlier, so um, it's actually kind of a stylized drawing or graphic drawing of well, I'm considered like my shaman. Um, thought I'll draw some little bit of like a little bit of my background. I'm Mexican, Puerto Rican. Um, thought share some a little bit of my culture with what I'm doing. Yeah, if you hear some music background, that's a little bit of some classical music, actually, of a local musician, which I do got the permission to share Facebook Live. His name is Ryan Charles Raymer. So it's part of a show I did earlier this year. Um, this is actually my piece right here, but he's a classical musician in Cleveland. So, I thought I'll have some music back because I got to listen to something, some music, some classical or jazz or something. But anyway, so I'm just gonna get started. It's pretty much a lot of ink drawing. Just I don't talk much when I draw, but if Cheryl has a question for me or anything to talk, I'm more happy to answer. But let me just get started here. All right. Uh, can you hear me pretty good, Cheryl?
Yeah, the sound is great.
All right, cool, cool. Uh,
I'll kind of give you a couple minutes to get into your groove and then I'll throw some questions at you.
yeah, yeah, go for it. You know what? I'm gonna if I could draw it upside down. I don't know. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been up this late to make some art.
Is it different working at night than it is during the day for you?
Oh, I enjoy working at night, but since uh, finished college that a while ago, but again, having a full time day job, so I usually work at night anyways. But I'm usually in bed by like 10 or 11. So, but it's kind of nice, feels kind of youthful, staying up late making or drawing or something like that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
We've had fun being up late tonight.
that's cool. Had a lot of people tune in.
Yeah, we've had pretty good feedback and lots of comments. I don't know how
Yeah.
many people are still up with us, but maybe we can keep an eye out and see if we get any comments um,
Yeah.
tonight. We got looks like a couple people watching, so
Oh, that's cool.
yeah. So where do you get your ideas for your artwork?
Well, a lot of my ideas, they just pop in my head, whatever it is. I'm a trained like drawer, draftsman, mostly, but a lot of my ideas, I think it's more about interest in my like culture or my identity.
Mm,
Um, I kind of found out late in life that I was like kind of adopted. And then ever since I knew that, I always been interested in doing portraits or anything that deals with like people
yeah.
or how we see each other in life and stuff like that. And so a lot of my stuff deals with like my own personal culture again, like being Mexican, Puerto Rican, and being adopted like that. Um, like right now, what I'm drawing, this idea just I was thinking about since we're in a pandemic and everything, I was like, I want something dealing with healing or something positive or something like
Mhm.
that. And then I did a sketch. I was looking just an old drawing, and I was like, oh, I did this cool graphic drawing of a shaman. It was kind of stylized sketch. I'm like, oh, let me work on that, make it a little better. And I think this is something I could do within an hour. And so my idea was more or less coming from like what was the context of again healing, but at the same time, like, oh, what can I do within an hour for this fundraiser and event? So, and the style of art, what I do again, I draw and paint. Um, I just want to make sure that it's I don't know, I was gonna say I don't know, appropriate for whatever I'm doing or the assignment or project I'm working on. So yeah, so all my ideas, and plus my style of art, it's all over the board. I can draw realistically. I'll do some abstract style stuff, but you know, whatever comes to my head or vision, I kind of just honor it.
Yeah, that's great. That's important. S-
Yeah.
Speaking of the pandemic, do you feel like that's affected how you make art or the kind of art you're making right now?
Um, this one right now, I mean, just the idea of the shaman, think of like something healing and
Mhm.
um I think and then thinking about culture, think about worldly issues and stuff like that. So
Yep.
it's I just feel it might be appropriate. I haven't been again since this pandemic. I did some paintings earlier this year, but after during this pandemic, I haven't been making much art. It's been like kind of like just difficult for me. It's like it's just doesn't feel important, I guess, in the context of things. But participating in this event kind of gets me motivated again to do something, you know. And
That's
then
great.
that the idea, I'm raising money, so it's like cool. I feel like it can help others, if seeing people, somebody doing some drawing right now. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Well, we appreciate you um, taking your time, and I'm excited to
yeah,
see how your art comes out. I love the theme of healing. I think, that's a really important theme right now. And
yeah, definitely.
that's awesome. Are there any particular artists that you get your inspiration from?
Um, in particularly, I think back in the day, I used to love, growing up, the Renaissance artists, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, and all that, because I was into realism and all that. But as time went on, and I was in college, I was introduced to outsider artists, self-taught artists.
Hmm.
I went to school at Cleveland State University, and I used to work in the art gallery there. And we did a show with it was called Visionary or something like that, and I was I was in what kind of art this is, and pretty much these artists who have like started making art later in life, and they're influenced by some kind of spiritual experience, religious experience, and it was just amazing just seeing these artists just pick up a painting because God told them to. And I think the whole process was just so interesting, unique to me. So not particularly like any singular artist. I mean, like the artists I traditionally follow was contemporary artists. I can't think of people's name right now, but just it's more like style and what motivates people or something's unique and different that kind of inspires me or kind of forms me as an artist. And I also like tribal art, African art, definitely like indigenous art, Native American art. Um, that kind of gives me some kind of that that energy. You know what I'm saying? That
Okay,
connection or spirituality.
absolutely. There's definitely
Yeah,
that vibe. I think a lot of times in um, that type of artwork.
yeah, no, definitely.
Great. Do you have any favorite art materials? It looks like maybe you have a Sharpie there you're working with right now.
Um, my favorite drawing, probably drawing material like charcoal. That's probably my favorite. I mean, I got a degree in drawing, and there's nothing like just being so closer to working on paper and stuff like that. I
Hmm.
mean, I think I like drawing mostly because it kind of connects me when we're kids. I mean, drawing is like the first thing we do, like growing up, just if it's like a crayon or a pencil, we just make marks, or we try to, replicate what's in our head or what we see in life. Um, so I think charcoal. I mean, it's just a lot of fun to work with. The blending. I Yeah, like right now I don't do much ink drawings or again, I think for when I did the sketch, it was if you look at it, like I don't know if I can bring it up, you can see a little bit
Oh,
the way
wow.
I'm drawing it. I kind of like the look of this texture. Almost reminds me of like a wood block print.
Yeah.
So I think so that's why it's like, oh, this is kind of cool, instead of trying to fill everything in solidly and just leave some of these this texture, just the white to come through um, from the drawing again. So hope I get most of it done though, whatever time I have left.
You're doing good. You still have a lot of time.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So today I'm working in my dining room right now. I mean, my studio right now is such a mess. I'm in the process of cleaning it out and um, just get rid of some things that I haven't used in a while. So I have this body of work over these ideas. I want to start working on some large drawings, and it's just my space is so cluttered right now from like this show I worked on earlier this year, and I thought like this is the quickest, easy space I could work on. Nice big open table, clean space.
There's something I think sometimes about just having that clean space to work on that I don't know gives you room to breathe.
Definitely.
Well, it sounds like you have some exciting art planned.
Yeah, yeah. I hope. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some charcoal drawings of like again dealing with my culture. I think of doing some root vegetables that I grew up. My mom used to make, and some of my favorite root vegetables I used to eat. And it was just from this article I was reading a couple months ago, and they're talking about the history of root plants, and how indigenous cultures and over time, and how Latino cultures, how they prepare the foods and everything like that, and just made me think about like Latin roots. Like, oh my God, this would be some interesting play of words, but just a visual culture of through through food. And like, yeah, I'm a realist drawer, and I studied doing like realistic drawings back when I was in college, and it's been a while since I did some realistic drawings now, so more like a hyper realistic artist sometimes. So I was like, oh, that'd be kind of fun.
As I'm watching you draw what you're working on
Uh-huh.
now, I can really kind of envision what a cool uh, collection of art that would be. It's I love the metaphor.
Yeah, yeah, it's so strange. Everybody asleep right now in the house, so it's kind of interesting to be up this time making some art. Reminds me like I got like, oh, I got an assignment due tomorrow, and I'm up all night trying to finish it up.
I remember those days.
Uh-huh.
What do you think the artist's role in society is?
I think for most part, it's just to like connect people, um, have people see things differently. I think a lot of us artists, just sharing certain visions and how we can make certain emotions and feelings and ideas come to life. Um, if it's music, um, painting or drawing or dance, it's just to connect, to connect to who we are as humans. I mean, our ability to ability to feel. People could see, you know, what potential we have as a human species. So I mean, we play an important role. I mean, without us, this probably won't be nothing. I mean, especially architects, designers. I mean, um, yeah, from the clothes you wear, from the houses you live in, to how we get our food and water, it's some kind of an artist or a designer that creates all this stuff or this creative ability. You know, so it's very important, I think.
Absolutely. We were talking about um, art from different cultures and indigenous art, and it seems like a lot of ancient cultures,
Mm-hmm.
what we know about them is what they've left for us from their artists.
Yeah, yeah, the history, how we learn from earlier. I work at the Cleveland Museum of Art, and it's just amazing just to see the technology and um their uh, inventiveness, their ability to invent things, with just simple tools, and it's just like you said, ingenuity. It's profound, when you have this idea and just this energy and um yeah, just to make something come to life out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just raw material, manipulating it. It's crazy.
I agree. I think it's really the idea of taking art materials and creating something that's greater and has more value than the materials by
Hmm.
themselves.
Definitely, definitely.
So you were talking earlier about kind of the changes in your life and the things that you've learned about yourself through the years, and I'm wondering if that's caused changes in your artwork through time.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I think about a year ago, like I like to think about, when I do drawings and stuff. Also, lately, I've been thinking about um different things I could do with materials. I know when I used to have like some powder charcoal or powder graphite, and I just used that to cover up the paper faster. But I was at a drawing event at Spaces, and I saw this one artist using powder graphite, mixing up with gum arabic, and it was using like making like this own pigment, and he was using it using stencils and rolling the his brayer with this mixture of graphite and gum arabic, and I was just all like, wow, like it's like this uh, graphite paint, and I was like, man, with charcoal. So I was starting mixing charcoal with linseed oil, and I started cut. I rolled my paper, and it was like a inking process or like a printmaking process, but with drawing, I thought like that was kind of unique. And then I took it a little further, like, wouldn't it be like to cover 3D objects in charcoal? And that made me think about, how do I see what drawing is, reinvent drawing for myself. So I covered like some mechanical parts or parts that belong to a car. Like I did a piece with like a rotor, and I covered it in charcoal powder, and I put some rope through it and everything. It's like an abstract form of, I call it like a piezza. So you have these two rotors, and there was this rope coming out of it, and this rope like is severed, like this bond that broke. And I was just thinking about, my relationship of my I mean, like I'm adopted, but my biological mother not being connected. So it was interesting trying to, think of drawing differently with and making it like 3D. And it's something that I never thought of it before. Over time, is just by seeing other artists and how it inspires a new idea and a new method to make art, So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then again, like me thinking about drawing, what can I do differently? I also did some. I had my ex-wife. She used to make puppets, and she had all this fur material around the house, and she didn't want it anymore, and she said I could have it. And I remember just taking this old fur and I using hair clippers, and I was cutting into it, and I was kind of like drawing. You know how some hairstylists, they'll draw designs in your head and stuff like that. And I was thinking about that idea, and I sculpted like this little simple face into the fur, and I was just like, wow, it was just different, something for me, and hopefully that as I move forward in my career to keep experimenting with drawing and with materials, and it was all inspired from like personal experiences from my like adoption or experimentation. Sometimes I don't know what I'm thinking. I just let the emotions go through and the ideas go through. And again, my art, something I find is like experimental. You just don't know what it is until you try it out.
That's awesome. Do you notice changes in the way that you feel when you kind of just tap into that flow?
Oh yeah, it's you feel like I mean, it's like the way I think about when you're making art or drawings, like you tap into this your spiritual self. Like no words can describe it. You can feel elated. You find a sense of peace, calm, uh, sense of peace. Um, yeah, it's like no feeling. Sometimes I wonder, like when I make art, is like am I making art so I could just the skill I have, or does he have put in paper, or is it that feeling? Like I just want to have
Mm,
that feeling. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, yeah, because when definitely getting the flow of things, I start making a lot of art, and it's like, man, my is it the art, or is it just that feeling? I'm addicted to that feeling that it's you don't experience in real life. You know, you bring it out within yourself.
We always say around here it's about the process, not the product.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely about the process. Because before I started tonight, I was thinking like I didn't know if I'll have enough time in an hour, so that's why I decided to draw this. But yeah, this paper was blank, earlier, and then just a little idea, a little ability here, some skill that I practice over time, and a lot of it, I think it's just confidence. I think everybody can make art, and just having confidence in yourself. It's only uh, certain adults that would tell us like, "Oh, that ain't art. It should look like this." Is like, which is wrong. Like art is anything. Is anything since like Duchamp said, I mean, anything can be art. It's up to the artist to identify it as art.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're staring at that blank piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
how do you decide where to start?
I usually start in the center and work my way out. Sometimes if I like again, this was based off of a sketch. So I remember I looked at the sketch, like okay, what the parts in, but yeah, I start in the center and just work my way out. Um, and usually because I'll draw in pencil, I just don't want to smear the graphite or anything like that. So and then if I like, what, if I do something abstract and just let my feelings, emotions, it doesn't matter where I start. I think the most important thing is just to get started. Just get that pencil or charcoal or whatever utensil you have in your hand and just start. Just get. That's the most important thing. Just start. Make mistakes. Play. Um, don't be afraid. I know when I was younger, it took me a long time to not be afraid because sometimes art materials are expensive. So I used to be afraid about wasting materials. Like, oh, I don't want to mess up. I just spent,
Yeah.
$5 or $6 on this tube of paint um, or canvas when I was in college. Like, so I don't want to make mistakes because that costs money.
What do you do when you make a mistake now? Do you incorporate that or do you start over?
um, lately, like, I was doing some spray painting. This new body work I did earlier this year, spray painting on canvas and stencils. And my technique, like, as long as I have my stencils, rough idea, whatever happens, happens. I just accept it, and like it was hard for me to like. There was no sense of mistakes. It was just it's just layers of color and pigment. Um, So it was really hard as I make art to figure out, like, there is no mistake. You know what I'm saying? You just adapt, and you just it actually might be like a happy mistake. It might be thinking about Bob Ross or happy mistakes or something like that. But it's just sometimes it works to your advantage, if you just embrace it. Let the mistakes be, um, potentials for new ideas. So I like, as an artist, I don't see mistakes as, like, if I was younger, when I was learning how to draw or be a draftsman, and yeah, I definitely saw mistakes. But as I mature as an artist, I don't tend to see them anymore.
So it's an
It's just,
opportunity to do something different or approach it in a new.
yeah, yeah, and but also to embrace it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, um we get caught up, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still make mistakes and I still tear up drawings and stuff like that, but I do less so since I was younger. I'm like, okay, this is coming out what I'm doing, but let me keep working it out, let me keep doing some more to it, let me add some more parts to the artwork, and then, you know what, the mistake is not there. It's like it becomes a accumulation of a whole bunch of mistakes, but it kind of works as an art piece. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, like, again, I was like, last year I was working with the charcoal, mixed with linseed oil and this, like, charcoal paint. Yeah, just put it on this Yupo paper, which is a new material. I forgot how I got exposed. Or, a local artist used to work with Yupo paper, and other artists was telling me about it. It's like, yeah, Dante, you got to work with Yupo paper. A lot of artists paint on it. So I was like, well, this charcoal. I mean, it's like a plastic type of paper, and it was so interesting. So when I was drawing, I wasn't drawing with, like, like a charcoal stick or anything, but I was using paint brushes. I was using scrapers to move the pigment around, and it was just like, yeah, I was just moving the stuff around, and eventually it was making the image was coming alive before me, and I didn't know, as long as I was like, I'm thinking about a head, and I make these shapes, and they look like abstract heads, and I just like, damn, I like, it could be a mistake, it can be a mistake. I just embrace the material. I think if you're honest with yourself as an artist, and you're motivated and passionate and confident, the artwork, it'll just come out. It'll kind of art will speak for itself. It'll communicate to you what it wants to be. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, just trusting the process and trusting yourself, it sounds like.
Yeah, and trusting the process. That's exactly it. And that's what it is. I think we forget to trust the process because we listen to those negative thoughts, or what people said, what art should be, what art should look like. You know what I'm saying? And that kind
Yeah,
of kills it. It kills that inner child spirit that we have, that we all want to keep youthful and energetic in us.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So this part of the drawing, I'm almost done here. So the shaman, these are actually, um is an agave plant. Of course, it's kind of stylized and everything like that. um and the shaman, I was just thinking, like, I was thinking, like, indigenous culture in Mexico in the Southwest. You see a lot of these agave plants, which, a lot of us know that agave we make the tequila from. But back in the day, the Aztecs, they made their own drink of, it was called pulque. They'll take the juice from the agave and ferment it, and, great. This was like the nectar of the gods. But what's also interesting, I'm not really, like a biologist or plant kind of guy, but it's interesting to know that the agave plant, and I never touched an agave, but from what I read in the past, that it has a very tough fiber that you get. People, the Aztecs used to use it, peel away the leaves and stuff, and have this very tough fiber that they can make clothing from. But also the needles of the agave plant, they used to use that in their, there was a culture, the Aztecs. Some of it, they were a warrior culture, and some aspect it was a little brutal, but they used to do a ritual of bloodletting. So they use these needles to stick to their tongues, and, to appease the gods. There were different thinkers in that time, different beliefs. But I always felt fascinating that how this plant, um, the different uses from a food, nutritional, or also it has medicinal healing, purposes for the I guess the agave or the juice, so that you can use it to heal wounds and stuff like that, which I don't know much about, but that's from what I read. And so it made me think about our relationship with botany or plants or the world, that everything we need to heal ourselves is in nature. And if it's God, if that's your belief or something that inspires us. So I'll give you another look. So can you see it?
Absolutely. Wow, that looks great. I love the
Yeah.
texture.
Yeah, and again, this technique of just the Sharpie, not trying to, sometimes when we use markers, sometimes we want to fill in, cover every space. And I thought, like, you know what, just don't fill everything, just make it sketchy, and eventually, just like a whole bunch of little happy mistakes, that eventually becomes to look like something, or something that you could live with, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, this is like a nice little original drawing. Never, I did a little quick sketch. It was from, I don't know, earlier this year, and never did nothing with it. And I just thought, hey, a little shaman for people who need some healing in their life.
I love that.
Bring some goodness. Yeah. So right now I'm just drawing little lightning bolts to represent energy.
That's great. It's great to watch you work. Do you
Oh,
have a
thank you.
favorite piece of your own artwork?
I actually do. If I have time, I gotta hang it up in the over here by the stairs. It's a kind of an abstract drawing uh of my mother. So it was like, man, from like 8 years ago, and I was just starting to draw one day. It was for a show, and a lot of my ideas when I work as artist, because I work full time, I don't get to play as much, but when I have an opportunity to show some artwork. Uh, I was like, okay, what I'm gonna work on. Well, I need a body of work, and I just started just thinking about, again. I think it's interesting. It was just texture, and it was like just hair. It was like hair. I was drawing hair, but in different abstract shapes, and into squares or triangles, and I was doing this drawing, and I did acrylic paint with it, and after I was done, I don't know what it was, but I was like, it just made me think about my mother, and I was like, my adopted mother, she's a beautician, and thinking about this hair and stuff like that, and I think I'm just paying homage to her. And I remember when I was little, going to her friend's house, she'll do her friend's hair and everything like that. And my mom used to tell me that I used to like her one friend that I loved and stuff like that. She had like she was an older lady, but she had like a lot of hair, like it was 1950s honey. I don't know what kind of bob hair, whatever. And I used to play with it, touch it. She said I always was amazed by her texture or the look of the hair. And um, so when I was then, it was interesting. So I did a whole body work with just the hair texture idea, and just made different abstract portraits. But yeah, if I have time, I'll take my phone over there so you can see it. So it's one of my favorite pieces. Um, and I just think, because I didn't know what I was drawing, but then after I did, I was like, oh my god, this is like an abstract portrait of my mom, and it's just like I didn't know, and then over time I figured out what it meant. You know what I'm saying? It was like it was interesting.
I love that. I think that it's really great when we have a piece of art and after we sit with it for a while, sort of its meaning is revealed to us.
Yes, yeah, it's over time, yeah, and that's the thing about art. Like working at the art museum, I go out and see the art collection, and each piece have a different meaning, what you're going through, or there's something you haven't noticed before, and for some reason you're seeing it. And I don't know, maybe because what you're going through in your personal life or the feelings, it's just it's a revelation, little by little, over time. And yeah, that's how pretty much I feel like when I be making art, or I used to be caught up in like, what am I doing? What is the meaning of this and all that? I mean, that's always younger. I mean, you're always trying to find answers. But as you mature and you keep making art, there's no answers. There will be answers later in life, and the answers would change. The feelings would change. At one moment in time, this art meant it served its purpose at that moment in time for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to let you know that you have about 10 minutes left.
Okay. Okay.
And one of the things that we've kind of been encouraging people to do towards the end of their
Sure.
time is share with everybody just anything you kind of want to plug. If you have any shows coming up, if you want to tell everybody where they can find your art, where they can kind of find you online to follow what you're doing.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So there is a group show I'm a part of that's coming up in November 20th, I think. It's the gallery is called Avatar Gallery. It's on the west side of in Cleveland. Um, and it's a small. I have probably a small few pieces there. It's a small works uh, group show. Um, and I mean that's the only show I think I got coming up right now. um, yeah, like and see anything else I can't think of. Yeah, I think that's it. Just yeah, it's called Avatar Gallery. Um, it's in the it's the Hi- Hildeberger building. I don't know, maybe that's it. It's on Walton Road on the west side of Cleveland. Um, let me see, and people could find me on Facebook under my name Dante Rodriguez, or on Instagram you can find me under Arte es Gratis. Um, you can see some of the newer work I've done lately. Yeah. So other than that, doing this fundraiser event for our art studio, Art Therapy Studio Cleveland, which is giving me an opportunity to make some new art, something I haven't done in a while, and yeah, that's it.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, see, I got like about what, like 8 minutes or so left.
Yes.
Okay. I was hoping to get this done. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I feel bad. Like I had some technical difficulty trying to get this all working up again or earlier this morning. But you know, it's not. That's what happens at 2 o'clock in the morning. You think you'd be all prepared, and hey,
Life gets in the way sometimes. It happens.
yeah, it happens when you do things live.
Well, don't worry too much because not everybody has finished in the hour, so you can finish
Yeah.
it and then
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
just snap a picture of it and
Definitely.
you can send it over to us or post it on your page or do both, and
Sure, sure, sure. No, I'll do that. Yeah, get a little more the lightning bolts on the pants.
that's nice. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, so I'll just finish up, coloring the pants and then the legs and then the background. So it's gonna be like a fully black drawing. Um, so should look pretty cool after it's done.
It looks pretty cool already.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. I knew it was gonna take some time because I'm using like this little Sharpie head, a fine point,
Yeah,
but it helps create that nice texture.
it does. It really does. I think working small like that too really helps you be in the moment because you can't rush it. You just have to be present.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it's also like when I make art, I'm usually just quiet and everything. So it's interesting to right now. This whole process has been kind of interesting because I'm talking, thinking, but I'm also focusing on the process. Like I'm doing all this line work, make sure I don't get over the line. So um, I'm very much alive, you could say.
Yeah. Was it challenging for you to kind of multitask?
um, I mean, it was okay. It was interesting. I'm not much good for a multitasker. I'm more like, okay, I'm finished. Oh, well, let's talk. Let me put the pen down. We could talk. It's like that. But in my mind, everything okay. Like I'm like, oh, what's the question? She was, oh, okay, and trying to figure out things, and then but at the same time, like, oh, like I'm in the moment of my what I'm doing here. It was yeah, kind of different experience. I know some other artists they talk and make art. For me, it's like yeah, I'm just more like listen to my music and just get zoned in. And I think pretty much that's like a lot of artists just just zone in and get into the work, focus. So
Lose track of time.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, I certainly appreciate you stretching yourself tonight to
Sure, sure.
let us get to know you a little better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to watch this video later and see what I said and stuff like that. Because I don't remember. Right now, it's just like, just doing this drawing. Yeah, it feels good though. And one thing I do like about this drawing and everything, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but it's just the sound that it makes. Um, each each material, whatever surface, and how they interact with each other, have a different tone, you know. And I find always that interesting. I don't know if you can hear that just going across the surface. Hmm.
I'm not sure if I'm hearing it or I'm imagining it because I
Yeah.
we're talking about, that art's a really
Yeah.
sensory process.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And right now, I'm thinking of a memory when I used to be a guard at the museum, and there was a group of students coming in drawing, and they all had like these boards, drawing boards, and their paper, and they were like, and I had my eyes closed, and you could just hear the charcoal or the drawing material going across the paper on the board, and it was just this beautiful sound, and it just brings me back to the act of drawing, But when you have like 20 people doing it, it was so interesting, very interesting experience.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Well, you have about 2 minutes left, and I know you're trying to finish, but I'm
Yeah, yeah.
wondering if you want to share with us that other piece of art you were talking about.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I take one quick look of like, so you can see the shorts, the pants, and then the whole background I'll fill it up with Sharpie, so you'll see like just the white outline that makes the image. Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, and this is the stuff I was telling you about the rotor, and this is all covered in charcoal.
That's
So these
charcoal.
are
Wow.
so it's charcoal linseed oil. So that's the Pieta piece, and then here's another piece I did. This is like an old palette from work I did with acrylic, and again that's covered in charcoal. Yeah, so this is the one of my favorite pieces. You can see.
Oh, I see why. Wow, that's great.
So yeah. Cool.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we go?
Um, everybody make some art. It's a good healing process. It awakens all your senses, and don't be afraid. Just get lost in it and make a whole bunch of mistakes, and all these little mistakes will make something beautiful.
I love it. Thank you.
Uh-huh. You're
All
welcome.
right. Really appreciate you being here with us tonight and
No
taking the
problem.
time to share a piece of yourself.
Hey, I appreciate you guys. It gives me an opportunity to make art, and it's for a good cause.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
You.
welcome.